Excuse me, sir. Just 1 minute of your time. I have a proposal that could change your life. The firm voice cut through the morning air as Jonathan Pierce, the 54-year-old CEO of Pierce Global Holdings, walked toward his sleek black Tesla parked in front of the city's most expensive cafe. Dressed in a perfectly tailored $4,000 suit, Jonathan turned, his steel gray eyes narrowing at the sight of a 17-year-old boy standing in his path. The teenager's clothes were worn, his shoes nearly falling apart, yet there was something in his gaze steady, fearless that made the billionaire pause. "Kid, I don't hand out money on the street," Jonathan said coolly, pressing his car remote. "Find a shelter or a social worker." "I'm not asking for money," the boy shot back. "My name's Marcus Carter. I'm 17. I'm offering you an investment opportunity that could make your company millions." Jonathan let out a dry, dismissive laugh. He had heard countless absurd pitches in his decades building a real estate empire, but never one from a homeless teenager outside a cafe. "An investment?" he sneered. "You probably didn't even finish high school." "I graduated at 15. Straight A's," Marcus replied evenly. "For the last 2 years I've studied this city's real estate market day and night. I know exactly where your next $20 million should be invested." The sheer confidence in those words made Jonathan hesitate. Something about Marcus didn't feel like a scam. There was a quiet strength in the boy's voice, the kind that comes from surviving storms most people never face. "You have 30 seconds, Jonathan said, folding his arms. "Impress me." Marcus pulled out a crumpled piece of paper, carefully folded. "The abandoned lot on Eastwood Avenue, number 317. Everyone thinks it's worthless because of soil contamination. But what your advisors don't know is that the contamination is superficial. It can be removed for only $200,000 using a new method developed by the university's environmental lab." Jonathan frowned. That lot had been on his blacklist for years. How did this boy know about it? "But there's more," Marcus continued, his eyes burning with intensity. "The city council quietly approved an extension of the Green Line subway. The new station will open directly under that property in 18 months. The land's value will rise 15-fold. A chill slid down Jonathan's spine. That information wasn't public. He had tried to uncover the subway plans through his connections at City Hall and failed. "How the hell did you find that out?" he asked. "I worked as a janitor at City Hall for 6 months, Marcus answered calmly. "You'd be shocked what people throw away, thinking no one's watching." For the first time, Jonathan felt genuine curiosity, but it quickly soured into arrogance again. "Interesting, sure. But real deals need more than rumors and trash paper. I'd need technical reports, soil analyses, feasibility studies. I have them all." Marcus pulled a battered flash drive from his pocket. 6 months of research. Original contamination documents. The university's study. Copies of preliminary subway contracts. Jonathan weighed the flash drive in his hand, stunned that a boy with no resources had gathered information worth millions. Still, the idea of partnering with a homeless teenager was laughable to him. "I'll review your information," he said briskly, slipping the drive into his jacket. "If it checks out, maybe I'll give you a bonus." "I'm not asking for charity, Mr. Pierce," Marcus replied firmly. "I'm offering a partnership. 20% of the net profits." Jonathan barked a genuine laugh. 20%? You don't have money, a company, or credibility. You want a cut of what exactly? "Of the knowledge that makes this deal possible," Marcus shot back without flinching. "Without me, you wouldn't even know about it." Jonathan straightened his tie, signaling the conversation was over. "That's worth a bonus, maybe a few $1,000s. But a partnership? That's adult business. Not for kids like you." Marcus's eyes didn't waver. "Men like you think worth is measured in bank accounts and skin color. But I've survived 2 years on these streets by seeing opportunities you can't. Call me when you decide whether prejudice is worth more to you than profit." As Jonathan drove away, Marcus remained on the sidewalk, calm and unshaken. Their meeting hadn't been chancy. It was the first move in a plan he had been building for months. 3 days later, Jonathan sat in his high-rise office, unable to get the boy out of his head. Not because of the proposal, but because of the audacity. He ordered a private investigator's report. The file confirmed Marcus Carter was an orphan, living in shelters, with no bank account or address. Pathetic, Jonathan thought, yet the report also showed Marcus had truly graduated with honors, and city records confirmed his janitorial job. Jonathan called his insider at City Hall, Harold Bennett. That janitor Carter. Why did you fire him? Too nosy, Harold replied. Always reading documents, asking questions. Security caught him photographing plans in my office. Jonathan hung up, convinced Marcus had stolen the information. But what he didn't know was that Marcus wasn't alone. In the State University Library, Marcus sat with Professor Sofia Alvarez, an economics professor who had seen his brilliance and chosen to mentor him. You have the contracts? Marcus asked. Authentic and damning, Sophia said. If Jonathan Pierce really lunched with Bennett to discuss that land, it's insider trading. The fines could reach $50 million. Marcus nodded. I've been recording his dealings. Every conversation, every document. And that flash drive? It's not just reports. It's tracking him. Every file he opens, every email he sends, every transaction, it all copies to my servers. Sophia stared at him in awe. That's genius. And dangerous. I spent 2 years on the streets, Marcus said quietly. I learned survival means creating opportunities others can't imagine. When Jonathan texted him days later, offering $5,000 to close the matter, Marcus rejected it instantly. 20% or no deal. Jonathan scoffed, sending back, final offer. Take it or leave it. Marcus closed his laptop. Then I'll give him a real-world lesson. Within 48 hours, Pierce Global's financial systems were compromised. Every move Jonathan made on that flash drive had been tracked. The Securities and Exchange Commission announced a full investigation, armed with recordings, contracts, and years of evidence Marcus had quietly gathered. Jonathan's empire collapsed overnight. His accounts were frozen, his partners abandoned him, and federal agents stormed his office. You planned all this, Jonathan whispered when Marcus finally called him. I planned to survive, Marcus replied. I offered you millions legally. You offered me scraps. Now you're paying the price of arrogance. Wait, we can still deal. 20%, 50, anything. Jonathan begged. It's too late, Marcus said, his voice steady but tinged with sadness. You had your chance to do the right thing. You chose corruption. As Jonathan was led out of his skyscraper in handcuffs, news cameras captured the downfall of a man who thought himself untouchable. 6 months later, the abandoned lot on Eastwood Avenue had transformed. At the groundbreaking of the Carter Alvarez Housing Center, Marcus stood beside Sophia, accepting the keys to a future built not on greed but on vision. The center would house homeless youth pursuing education, complete with apartments, a library, and 24-hour study rooms. Across town, Jonathan Pierce watched from a prison television. 22 years, his fortune gone, his family estranged. His cellmate chuckled. Funny, isn't it? The kid you dismissed is building an empire while you rot in here. Jonathan stared at the screen, hollow. Prejudice had blinded him to a genius who had been standing right in front of him. Marcus, meanwhile, ended his speech to thunderous applause. People told me to accept crumbs and be grateful. But when you demand what you deserve and prove your worth, the world eventually listens. Business leaders across the nation lined up to invest in his future projects. Reporters asked if this was revenge. Marcus shook his head. The difference between revenge and justice is simple. Revenge destroys. Justice builds. I'm not here to tear down. I'm here to create. And with that, the boy who had once been homeless proved that intelligence, determination, and integrity could topple an empire built on arrogance and build something far greater in its place.